All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We've got an exciting stream here today. So, today I've got OxKrillin, who is one of the developers from Defyra, joining us. And we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Defyra. How are you doing today, Krillin?
Oh, hey Taj. Hi everyone. Nice to meet you. Yeah, it's very interesting. Some people like say it's DeFira. Our team has always been calling it DeFira, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't think there's any official pronunciation. It's just very interesting how people like read words.
Yeah, no, for sure, totally. Well, that's good. I mean, it's good to hear what I guess like the founders call it. So, DeFira, if you've been calling it wrong, it is DeFira, latest alpha here. Awesome, man. But yeah, dude, I've been exploring around DeFira recently, and like the
It's okay.
protocol. I think
Anything you want.
yeah, I think the protocol is super awesome. But let's hear a little bit more about you first. Like, what got you into crypto, and like how long? Like, just tell us a little bit about your background with crypto and what brought you to this point today.
Yeah, I think it's a common story for a lot of crypto natives. Like I actually heard about Bitcoin. I was like debating Bitcoin with my coworkers back in like 2011 during the first hype on Hacker News. And then I was convinced by my coworkers that Bitcoin was the dumbest idea, so I never bought in back then. And looking at hindsight, that was a very bad idea. But then until like last year, September, I was just the average like crypto owner. So I had Bitcoin and Ethereum, but just like in a Coinbase account and like not really doing anything or interacting with any of the new cool dApps that's being developed. So it's actually Yamcha, our lead dev. He's been actually like a DeFi degen for a while. Um,
Oh,
and
really?
then yeah, in September, he decided to try to make a money market for like upcoming chains. So back then, money markets were very big. So like there was Benki and guys that just launched, and that brought huge TVL to their chains. So he dragged me along to start this. I basically learned a ton of stuff in the past few months, and now I'm pretty much a DeFi degen. I have several ledgers and like yield farming on several chains now.
That's what's up. I know it kind of just like spirals out of control once you start interacting with the protocols and stuff. But yeah, that's awesome. That's cool that Yantra's been in for so long. I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, no, he's the one that kind of dragged everyone on our team and made us like explore deeper. I think it's actually a common problem, right? So crypto is actually huge right now, but the amount of actual crypto natives, by crypto natives, I mean like you have a MetaMask, you use these dApps on chain, is actually very small. But it's growing really fast, and these dApps they're actually very good now. So I definitely see there's a huge growth opportunity here, and that's why I think anything like all the ecosystem projects, anything you do on chain, like there's huge growth coming.
Absolutely. I know it's so cool that like the way that it's all developing now too. Obviously like DeFi Kingdoms coming into the gaming space and onto Harmony was such a big game changer. But I know you guys like even before like announcing DeFira that you guys were working on Trank and Mimas. What was kind of like your like why? What was the like inspiration to kind of pivot over to GameFi?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I'll talk about why we decided to pivot to GameFi. So this is right after we launched Franco Finance in November. So those who's familiar with our background, like we had a lot of hype in our token, but then right after we launched, uh, our token pretty much crashed like 80 to 90%. Um, and then if you actually listen to the most recent or one of the recent podcasts by Taiki, he made very good points on why money market tokens just aren't sustainable because of the emissions and the fact you can earn the tokens without like actually buying into the token. So this causes a really bad feedback loop. So we were kind of learning this in real time really badly in November and December, and we were kind of brainstorming and thinking really deeply on how to solve this problem. Um, and then at the same time, like you said, DeFi Kingdoms was exploding. And then we just like at first we just didn't understand what DeFi Kingdoms was. It just looked really, really weird. So this was back in October before we launched. um, but we were like very confused back then. We had a $3 million market cap, and DeFi Kingdoms had a $300 million market cap, and then we were just confused on why like there's a 100 times difference, right? um, so after we did a lot of thinking, like I realized the GameFi and the model that DeFi Kingdoms came up with is actually like genius. It's incredibly like it solves the DeFi like liquidity mining problem where you emit too much tokens and then you go into the death spiral that a lot of DeFi platforms offer. Um, so that's when we decided, like in November, like late November, to um, try to turn our platform into a GameFi platform to try to make our farm tokens not just into farm tokens, but something like more useful in a game and bring utility that way. And for Mimas, we definitely wanted Mimas to be part of any GameFi that we did. So we decided to launch on Chronos chain mainly because we feel that GameFi is actually very unique in that you can attract like a lot of non crypto native people, right? Just because you have like cute graphics or like engaging gameplay. Like I just think it's just a lower bar of entry for more normal people to join the space. And we think crypto.com is actually in a very, very good position to onboard these people. So they've been making huge investments into like offline like advertising, and now like the Chronos chain is actually very, very exciting, the ecosystem. So they're announcing they're coming out of beta. Like the entire crypto.com, the coin is renamed to Chronos coin. And they're going to reduce gas costs. And there's we've actually been talking to the like core Chronos team. They're very interested in GameFi, and we'll have some more information coming out very soon on some deeper partnerships and deeper engagement with the Chronos ecosystem.
Dude, that's awesome. And yeah, I think I can echo a lot of your sentiments there. Like DFK just starting off with such a big revolutionary thing for GameFi, where and DeFi in general, where it's like now these farm tokens actually have utility and people want to hold on to them, and they're gonna skyrocket in price too because people see this amazing action that's going on. And also with that locking mechanism too, I thought was incredibly just bullish for that project. And I was really excited that you guys implemented a similar feature in here with the FIRA as well. But yeah, it's also really interesting that you guys have mentioned that you're like actually talking with the Chronos people a little bit more. Like, can you maybe like even drop a little bit of alpha on like what that might look like with Chronos on Mimas? Like, feel free to drop what you're comfortable with. I don't want to make you uncomfortable here.
No, I think our other dev that's working on this is going to be unhappy. I probably already dropped a bit too much alpha. So let's get to the next question.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But anyway, I totally agree with you on crypto.com just being a great onboarding ramp. Actually, that was one of the first cryptocurrencies that I bought in was CRO. I bought in about 5 cents. And I was just seeing that, like how much marketing they're doing and how much they are appealing to the average audience is it's just so crazy and like so bullish for a platform. And I love how you kind of made that connection with GameFi, how it does that same way. It's like bridging people that wouldn't necessarily be into crypto, but now get into crypto because of this easy onboarding process and like cute figures and things to attract them over here.
No, absolutely. This is one thing I want to emphasize. So since we launched, we've got a lot of like DFK fans who's really awesome and huge energy there. That's like upset at us for I guess they feel like we're competition. But I just want to emphasize like this space is so new. It's a growing market, right? It's uh, everyone can win here if we can grow the pie. So it's like we can't get into a zero sum mentality where like if I eat more of the pie, you eat less of the pie. This is like Android or iOS back in like 2010. So like both can grow really, really fast because like you just need to onboard more people. The problem is like if you're focused on the current audience, like you've already lost. You need to kind of onboard the next the next wave of people, which is like 100, 1,000 times more people than what we currently have.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Like, the crypto space is in its infancy right now, and GameFi is going to be like $1 trillion industry pretty soon, within the next couple of years, I believe. So I totally agree with you. There's plenty of space for everyone, and that's kind of just like how capitalism works. I've said this in a couple chats already too, but kind of like the capitalist way to succeed is find what works and then try to revamp it and make it something new and unique on its own. So I think that Defyra is actually doing that in a lot of really cool ways. Jumping ahead on some of our questions real quick. So since we're on the topic of DeFi kingdoms already, but what do you think are like some of the key differentiators between DeFi kingdoms and Defira? Because I'm seeing a lot of people, a lot of FUD getting spread around, like, oh, it's just a big ripoff, it's the same thing, and there's no creativity here, it's just a money grab. But what would you want to say to those people that think that about Defira?
No, no, definitely. We've been really inspired by DeFi Kingdoms. I think the way, like the way they presented the game world, the city, um, it just makes sense, right? It's like we feel it's kind of like maybe not this extreme, but like the touch screen that iOS kind of presented and that kind of everyone else kind of copied. It just seems like a natural interface for a DeFi GameFi hybrid. So definitely we've learned a lot, and we're definitely inspired by DFK. So in terms of the differences, right? I think being a second launching after, we've actually been able to learn a lot from the experiences of DFK, like for the better, I feel. One thing is we feel the jewel locking mechanism with epochs is kind of way too complicated for like the average person. Like you literally need like a YouTuber spending like 15 minutes to try to explain this to people. We decided to streamline it with our FIRA, where you just where we represented it as a token, like any other ones, and then we visually represent it as like a FIRA orb drained out of energy, and you need to kind of pump energy to turn it back into a FIRA orb. We feel it's just a lot more intuitive, and tokenomic wise, it gets a lot deeper. So I'll probably skip it, but we just feel it's a lot better tokenomic wise and like incentive wise for this structure. And we have also definitely learned from the lock jewel secondary market, uh, uh, and then we designed our SFIRA token to never be tradable. So we to prevent the negative effects of these secondary markets. Another unique thing we want to emphasize is that we actually really want to emphasize the IP part. So we haven't really talked about it much yet, but this is coming up. So we have a webtoon, and we're in the talks of making an anime. Um, this goes back to what I said about trying to onboard new people into crypto instead of fighting over the existing crypto natives. We think that like if we have a really strong like webtoon and or anime that can just stand by itself, um, we can attract a lot more people that might not be interested in crypto or might be like me before that just has like Bitcoin in a Coinbase wallet, to make them more curious and take the next step, right? Um, and we were also inspired by liquidity mining in DeFi. So liquidity mining kind of took DeFi to the next level after we're a compound fork, so we own a lot to compound as well. So they introduced this concept of liquidity mining instead of DeFi summer. Um, we think we can take this concept to the next level. Sorry, I'm inspired by a lot of projects, but one other project I'm inspired by is the Genshin Impact. So I spend a lot of time on the Genshin Impact subreddit, and you just see a lot of these like artists and creators creating these like absolutely high quality original content, and they would post it and get like tens of thousands of upvotes and hundreds of comments. But the actual like monetary or incentives, they just do it out of pure love or pure like just out of pure love of the IP. What we want to try is actually taking this idea to the next level. It's like, what if you can still show your love for the IP, but also get rewarded in terms of tokens? Just like liquidity mining, you can take your liquidity, put it on your platform, and help the platform build and get rewarded. Like, what if you take the same idea, but uh, you can take your love of the IP, help the IP build through original content, and then we also give you tokens. So this is something that we're very excited about, and we want to invest a lot more time to build.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I think that is really cool with like the IP being created. We have a question here from Skylar Campbell is asking like, is there a plan for fans to contribute to lore or IP? I think you kind of mentioned like that there might be some incentives for that, but can you go talk on that a little bit more?
Yeah, no, definitely. We plan on having we're calling this fan-based mining, like as like kind of FUD to liquidity mining. But we definitely want fans to contribute original content. So we already have a subreddit ready, our DeFira, and the idea is we'll start this program in a bit. The idea is we'll take the top content submissions every week and give the contributors like FIRA rewards or Trank rewards based on the quality of their contribution. So more details to come.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. Any timeline of when we could see those, or when we could expect those details, or when that system will get up and running?
Yeah, it should be very soon, within this month. But if you look at our roadmap in the long term, we have actually more ideas on this. One thing is like after we launch our anime, for example, if we want to also experiment with like paying people tokens to watch our anime. So this kind of inverts the traditional like marketing where people like watch the anime and then the anime studio expects to be paid. We think that the anime is more like a marketing tool to get more people in, and we want as many people to watch our anime as possible to kind of get deeper into our IP and become fans. But obviously, there's a lot of like technical issues about preventing abuse that we will need to figure out. But this is we just want to take this idea of liquidity mining to build a fan base to even higher to the next level. So we have a lot of interesting ideas there.
I love that, and I love that that is such like a big emphasis within the documents. You can see like the tidbits of that being scattered all over. But I think it's so important because if games like this don't like constantly bring in new people or just like retain attention of investors and like people engaging with the IP and everything, then it's not going to succeed. And I think it's really bullish in this roadmap that there are so many things that are going to intentionally go for that.
Yeah, for sure. If Netflix is interested in our anime, we'll give it to them for free.
Oh, nice. I know they've been getting more into the anime. With the Dota 2 anime has been pretty fire over there, I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, me, me and Sandwich Punch have been playing Dota 2 together. We're all nerds.
Yeah, I used to play the original Dota on Warcraft 3. And then yeah, back
Yes.
in my high school days is very nostalgic.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so a lot of people in chat right now, they're asking questions. The number one most asked question right now is when Gen Zeros?
Right. I think in our AMA earlier this week, we want to launch them about the same time as our X-Trink unlock. Uh, we have mechanisms to kind of dampen the supply shock when all that like Trank gets into the market with our Gen Zero heroes. So in a month, and definitely before that, we'll have a lot more information on what these Gen Zero heroes are and how you can get them.
Okay, cool. And are you able to hint at like what the supply for these Gen Zeros will be?
I think it'll be very similar to DeFi Kingdoms, if you're familiar with how many supply they have. But we also want to kind of pre-allocate and save a portion for other chains. And also, we have a lot of different ideas about heroes. So because like I spent a lot of time talking about our IP, um, we want our heroes, like our NFTs, to also play a major role in the IP. So one example is like all major characters, like in our say webtoon or in our anime, we want to also turn them into very special heroes. So maybe they're not like able to breed or anything or summon, uh, but they're just there so people can that are big fans can also get the chance to kind of own your favorite character as well. So we think this is actually a very, very unique concept that no one has done well yet. So we want to kind of experiment with that. And the other idea we had is we want to create events in game where, like through gameplay, you can allow your NFT, your hero that you might have really strong attachment to kind of level up and appear in the next episode of the anime, and then have like impact in the lore. So like not so now you're not just like in the game, you can impact the greater world of Defyra as well.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. And so, what a unique idea to like actually own some of those game characters as NFTs and having them be totally unique. I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see like if that could actually plays out. Do you have any idea on like what the pricing will be like for one of these Gen Zeros, or how they'll be distributed? And also, on top of that, like what tokens would we be paying for these Gen Zeros? Is it going to be Trank or FIRA or Mimas or a mix, or kind of like choose your own poison?
Right. This is actually a very complicated topic. We've looked through a lot of different NFT projects and how they launched. Um, it's like there's no good solution here. Originally, we wanted to do an auction style to avoid kind of like the initial rush, or like kind of like the Black Friday effect where everyone like breaks the door and try to grab stuff. But we heard a lot of good feedback from our Discord members in the AMA earlier this week about how this kind of only really how whales can have huge advantages, and it doesn't distribute the Gen Zero hero like well enough, right? So you'll have like a huge concentration of supply. Um, so after some thought, we're still not 100% decided, but we're kind of leaning towards like having white lists, but using your lock trank or the FIRA in the liquid like LP pools as kind of sort of a white list. But then the price of the heroes will be like at a fixed amount that's reasonable for people. And then we also plan to have a lot of anti-botting mechanisms, so like only real people, like one per account, can actually like purchase one of these at launch. There's actually really no good solution here. Like if you choose one method, there's like always drawbacks. And in terms of like the wishing cost for the hero, we definitely want Trank to be part of this. This is a very important part to, like I said up top, like this is one of the reasons why we decided to go deeper into or to go into GameFi, is to solve the inflationary farm token problem, right? So definitely Trank would be a huge part of any resource that you use to make more heroes.
Okay, cool. So, so to kind of recap that for you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong here. So it seems like we're going to get some kind of whitelist system for the Gen Zeros, and that's going to be based off of your FIRA. And then heroes will be paid, or the Gen Zeros will be paid in a flat amount of the FIRA token. And then for summoning, that we can actually use a combination of Trank or FIRA. Is that
this is just our current thinking right now. Just wait
okay,
for wait for the article that will finalize everything. So everything I'm saying is not finalized.
Perfect. So just so you heard that, this is not final, totally subject to change here, but this is the initial plan. So please don't go witch hunting for Krillin if it ends up a little bit differently. Awesome. Well, thanks for filling it in. I think that's really exciting news, and I really like that plan in general too. I think it's totally fair to have a whitelist for these now, because kind of like the proof of concept of these Gen Zero heroes for DeFi Kingdoms has already been demonstrated. So it's such a similar model that like people are already aware of the value that these are going to bring, and just doing like a straight up sale is going to make things really sticky. So I think a lot of people are glad.
Yeah, if you do a straight up sale, like there's just going to be bots. There's a lot of NFT project that kind of failed because of these botting, and like they just didn't think enough about the initial launch.
Yo, seriously, that's all it takes is like one part of the smart contract to be messed up, kills a whole project. So like have to be super careful with that. It actually goes back to one of my earlier questions. So I want to talk a little bit, like one of the things I look for in a solid project is having a solid team and having a team that like really considers everything and is really devoted to the project and people are there and excited to work. Talk to me a little bit about like what the dynamic and the team is like and what kind of like extra precautionary measures are you guys taking to make sure that all these smart contracts are perfect upon release?
Right. So our team, we have actually three core parts of the team. So we have our dev team, our art team, and then our like community team. So in terms of our dev team, we have four core members right now, and then a few more kind of like on part time and doing like small pieces. Uh, and then for us, we actually uh, we're actually very, very experienced. We've all been working in big American tech companies for the past 10 years, like as the tech lead role. But it's also very refreshing because once you get to that role, you like kind of stop coding. Uh, and then you more like kind of manage other people and delegate tasks to other people and just review their work. So with the DeFira launch that we had like all the code we written by ourselves by hand. So it was a very it's kind of a very refreshing experience for us. And then in terms of the art, we have a really, really big art team that we're very impressed with uh, in Thailand. So um, I would say like it's also not very fixed. We have a lot of artists on contract, on part-time. It's apparently that's how artists like to work. But I would say like in total, we might have like 30 to 50 different artists now working on this project.
Wow,
And
that's an
in terms
impressive
of
team.
the, yeah, yeah, and then yeah, so we have artists both in the concept art side, so all the pretty like graphics like you see for the city views, um, and then we also have a lot of artists for the pixel art, um, and they're currently working on our the heroes right now. Um, the other thing I want to shout out is our community team. So we have very strong uh, like marketers, sorry, like graphics designers. So all the pretty pictures you see on our Twitter, they're all done by our marketing team. And we also have very good mods. So like our Discord activity kind of exploded after we announced Defyra,
Yeah, I
and
did.
exploded more after we launched Defyra. So our mods have been very, very busy. All the mods are very active in the Harmony community. Uh, and a lot of these mods we basically got on board like in October, like even before we launched, and they've stuck with us ever since. So we're very, we really much very appreciate their work. In terms of the smart contract question, right? Um, we do a lot of intensive review of our smart contracts internally with our devs, and then we also engage like auditors as well. One thing we can probably do better, but it's also like a timing thing, is that these auditors, they actually take a long time to get back to you with an audit. So it's just a trade-off. So once we decide we're kind of confident enough when we test internally, review internally, we decide to launch, but then we don't publish these contracts publicly until we get the audit results back. We think this is kind of a reasonable trade-off. And this time we kind of got two auditors for um, uh, both just to have two pairs of eyes, and also because one auditor, Solidity Finance, can just get the audit a lot faster. But then there's a lot of concerns about their quality, so we also hired a second auditor, Certic, to look at it again. Uh, but Certic is a lot slower, so this way we can at least get an initial result. That might have be lower quality, but then another higher quality result later.
Awesome, awesome. I didn't know like the art team was that big and that you guys were like that large of a squad, but it's so awesome. The art is absolutely beautiful. I've seen the mods in Discord have been really solid too, kind of like parsing everything out and kind of reworking the channels and things. So I think it's just awesome.
Right. Yeah. I also, sorry, I forgot. I also want to shout out to our composer, Elan. He, all the music is done by him, uh, and it's absolutely amazing music. So he's already a well-known composer, like in the music world, uh, and then he just agreed to help us out. So that's actually very cool.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Um, all right, awesome, awesome. Yeah, the music I think is really fun. I heard a lot of people like trash talking it, but I think it's all super fun. I was actually like listening to like I was in the temple today, and I'm gonna put the music on, but give me like some real like intense like Legend of Zelda vibes. For I don't know.
Yeah, we want to get a huge range. Like the farm is very happy. The city music is more kind of epic, and then the temple music is more, yeah, like a boss fight kind of thing.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. They're doing it. They're doing it. I also think it's a really good, really good that you guys are like taking that process with the audits because like yeah, like if an audit takes too long and something goes wrong in between, then it's like well there goes your project. But if you do like the like preliminary audit, then at least you have something to like some kind of review to make sure everything's cool, and then get the more quality audit
Yep,
when
for
that
sure. Yep.
comes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Another question I wanted to ask, it was pretty popular in chat here as well, but so the cross-chain expansion with Mimos are like right now there's a very similar option like the lock trank for locking your Mimos where you can get part of those protocol fees. Will there be any FIRA rewards that will come from that locked Mimos at any time?
Yes, that's absolutely the plan. We'll have more announcements when we're closer to the launch. So all of these chain expansions, we're creating a completely new map with completely new experiences and NPCs. So we don't want to start. We'll start the process like when we're very close to launching the map. Uh, otherwise, like you start emitting and then you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, it makes sense that you want like some utility to the token once it's over there. That's exciting, and like, if you guys, I'm actually gonna pull up Tranquil so people can look at it. But the Tranquil rewards for the FIRA token have been pretty insane for the locking rewards. I have no shame in showing mine, but right now I'm earning about like 350% APR, and at first I was earning about like a dozen of the FIRA token a day, and now I'm earning like 8 or 9, which is still really solid. But if the FIRA tokens generated from Mimos too, I think that could also go pretty crazy. Um, so also I wanted to kind of hit on, and sorry, this wasn't a question I prepared for you, but what about like the heroes interacting cross chain? Do you feel like are there any going to be, or sorry, are there going to be any barriers to having the heroes have their utility on a different chain?
No, this is definitely absolutely part of our initial plan. So we want to have unique, like our heroes. We have a unique races for each hero. So we have, say, humans, elves, apes, Shibas, and our idea is like unique. Each chain could have unique races as well. So if you want, say, like a frog, you can only get that on the Chronos chain, and if you want like a undead zombie, you can only get that on the Phantom chain. Um, but after you have the heroes, we're going to create the airport where your heroes can take an airship to a new chain. So obviously there might be like a small fee, but we don't plan on any death mechanics during this. Your hero should like more freely flow but from one chain to another just by taking the airship for a small like fee to buy the airship tickets.
Okay, cool. And then like, do you think like the NFTs are going to be able to have all their utility on every chain?
Yep, absolutely. We want to make the heroes kind of act the same and be able to be used on every chain. And if you bridge one hero to another chain, they should still be able to have similar utility. The reason I say that is like one of our ideas is to have different game types on different chains. So obviously our core 4x or SLG game type we want to have on all our chains, but we want to say, for example, have like mini games that's exclusive to one chain. Um, like for example, like a airship racing mini game, you might only be able to do on the Harmony map because other maps don't have the right like airship wins or something. So this is something we want to experiment with to kind of encourage people to bridge more to different chains.
I love that. I love that. And like having those incentives on each of those different chains to get those over there. And like, yeah, if like the racing game's your style, go eat it up over there. Just a reminder to our audience here, we've got about 10 more minutes left on that giveaway form. So the link is in the description. Make sure you're filling that out. And I think there's an email that you need to confirm after you fill out the King Sumo as well. So make sure you get that in and you're entered. We're giving away 50 FIRA tokens, 5 winners for 10 each. So definitely get in on that. It's about $300 each. So tell me a little bit about like the game, like 4X game. So like if you could compare like the early ideas of what that game is going to look like to another game, like what game do you think you would compare it to, and how would it differ from that?
Right. A lot of people kind of compare like 4X when you think about it to something like Civilization or like anything by Paradox, like the Paradox Studios, like the EU games or Victoria 2. Um, uh, we're also actually inspired by like mobile like SLG games. So these are something like Rise of Kingdoms is the most popular one right now. Um, so the idea, I posted this earlier in the AMA we had this week. I posted this tweet by Do Kwon, where he kind of lays out like one of his visions of GameFi. So the thing is, like, we don't really want people to like buy, like we don't want to sell land directly, right? We want to like allow you to kind of we have this in our landing page to start from like a small like group of merchants and build a massive kingdom. So the idea is you'll maybe like start with just like your group of heroes and some like say like generic units like grunts or footments, uh, uh, but we allow you the chance to kind of establish a settlement and then expand the settlement and keep expanding your settlement until it becomes a very large city. And the resources to expand your settlement, you need to kind of collect on the map with your party or your which eventually becomes an army. But the more complicated thing is that it's just not only you on the map, right? There's going to be other actors on the map, and these other actors might actually be like guilds or DAOs, or like so at a certain point, you might not be able to do this alone. You might need to have to like band up with people. And then we want to make systems where all of this is like emergent. It's like we don't like something like these like MMO economies. I think EVE Online is the best example where you just have emergent interactions because you kind of designed the game right. So this is something that we really want to think deeper about. And one other thing is like we did some prototypes with just making everything on chain. It doesn't make sense to have a game like this on chain. Um, and it's also better for gas and like scalability reasons as well that I think people on Harmony are seeing. Um, so our idea is to have most of the game off chain in our server, and then a lot of the NFT when they change hands or when you get resources, that's when we'll interact with the chain, and then we're trying to figure out the best experience game wise to do that.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. I think that is really cool, and I think yeah, going off chain with your gameplay can bring a lot more like creativity and flexibility with the systems that you build. And it sounds like with like a civilization type game that's going to be kind of necessary because there's just the amount of transactions and everything that would go on there. So I'm glad we're not going to see Harmony get too much more clogged up. um, Awesome, awesome. Well, that's exciting. I love those kind of games. I never really played like Age of Empires, but I played some Civ and was a big like StarCraft, Warcraft player growing up. So
Yeah.
excited to get check out that gameplay and like that slow kind of turn based seems really fun.
No, it's I think this type of game, like we haven't seen any other projects trying to attempt this. Maybe we're not aware, but we definitely think this genre fits like Web3 really, really well because Web3 is all about ownership, and like what's deeper than like owning a city or owning an army, but then that ownership is more fluid, right? So like you have to kind of defend your your city and like and if you really care about it, like invest into it and defend it with like a guild or like a DAO.
Yeah, absolutely. That's gonna be cool, and I hope like Like who knows what that's gonna make for like the community, because you see like games like Eve Online where those guilds have like millions of dollars in spaceships, and there's actually a lot on the line in some of these political battles. So it's actually really exciting to see like what's gonna happen in the DeFira world, and like what kind of ties and alliances are gonna be made. That's like honestly one of the reasons I've been like scared to join or like commit to a guild in DeFi Kingdoms. Is like I don't want to like piss anybody off too much.
No, to actually achieve our vision, we are actually in the process of creating a game studio in Vancouver. So Vancouver is actually a big hub of video games. So like EA is there, where all their EA sport games are there. And I've actually worked or interned in a game studio in Vancouver as well. Um, so I think this vision is actually very big, and that's why we decided to go with like lower fidelity graphics, like pixel art. We think right now it's actually more important to like figure out the gameplay, right, rather than invest all this effort into like AAA quality art. Um, and then and like the pixel art is the beauty of pixel art is that you can make really nice looking pixel art. Um, for lower cost and have like nice looking animations on pixel art. If you try to do like 3D or higher fidelity 2D graphics, it's hard to like you can make really pretty models or pretty graphics, but then like when you animate them, they look very janky. So it's very hard to get good animation. So our philosophy is that we want to try to get the economy right and this game system right first. Before we try to invest more into graphics. So we like I see some games trying to like go all out with AAA like graphics and make a AAA game for the blockchain. We think it's too early. Just in the back of my mind, my gut feeling is that the AAA game genres and how they work, if you directly put them over to crypto, I don't think it's going to work that well. Just like if you put like a PC game onto mobile, it's not going to work that well. And I think we need a lot more time to kind of refine the winning model here. And using pixel art allows us to find the winning model a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always thought held the same philosophy when it comes to GameFi. Like you see projects like Alluvium, and it's like that game is beautiful, but you know it's not released, and they've been working on it forever. So like, let's get a gameplay. Let's get a game that we can actually work with and have fun with
No,
now.
I strongly believe that. Like the risk is very high, right? They spend like say a year or like multiple years making like this beautiful game without even like betaing or like built like soliciting feedback from the community and play testing it like at scale. And then so you don't really know like if all your investment is like even in like directionally correct, right? So this is the biggest risk I see, like people like spending all this effort going down the wrong direction, and then when you have to pivot, you've already like spent so much resources going down a direction that you haven't validated yet.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We have another question came up a couple of times. But will the Defyra games be playable on mobile?
uh, Definitely we want to um, just because of the unique nature of the blockchain ecosystem, we want to target browsers first, like desktop browsers. Um, this is because like the desktop browsers have the best wallet integrations, like with your hardware wallet um, and with MetaMask, and like a lot of people are more familiar with using the browser, and it's also easier to um, like kind of play a game without downloading an entire client. Um, Definitely once we have more engaged uh, like so what I'm saying is like our first game won't be like a mobile app, or it won't be like a downloadable like game client, right? It'll just be like you can play through your browser, so and you might be able to play through your mobile browser as well. But we think the current mobile wallets are kind of bad. Like if it's MetaMask mobile or like the CDC wallet app, there's a lot of improvements to be done. So our first goal is to target like desktop browsers. Um, and later we might consider making like a mobile app, but this is probably something we'll do once we kind of validate our gameplay ideas.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I feel like MetaMask Mobile is just like not that great. So it seems like all in good time that will come, but not really the main focus right now. Well, cool, cool. Okay, so our giveaway, it's about to end. We're gonna call those names in about 2 minutes. Just last call on that. I dropped the form. Make sure you fill that out and confirm that in your email as well. Um, last question I think we'll hit here is are there going to be any burning mechanisms for the FIRA or Trank or MIMAS tokens?
No, absolutely. The Trank and Mimas tokens, they're our DeFi tokens. So like I said at the beginning, the one of the main like motivations we had to do this GameFi is to bring utility to these tokens and burn these tokens. So one example would be to wish for new heroes. You would on different blockchains, you would need the blockchain's DeFi token. So we hope this, and then we plan to introduce more mechanics in the future to reduce to increase the burn. So we hope if we get enough like traction and figure this out, that will eventually like make the supply emissions and the burn like cancel each other out. So our token supply would get neutral or even like deflate. In terms of the FIRA token, we have a lot of we want actually right now the FIRA token burning it isn't important because we want to like increase the supply. We want to make the FIRA token kind of like an L1 token where it's like the base currency for everything in the game. So right now, like if you have too little supply, it's kind of bad just from like a currency perspective. And we definitely want to reward like early adopters of DeFira and allow them to the chance to get like a good portion of this currency just to reward people who are early. The other thing, but in the future, we definitely have ideas about like locking your FIRA to turn it into, in the white paper, we call it VE FIRA. That's like the term that a lot of DeFi projects use right now. But unlike other DeFi projects, we want this to directly like improve some sort of game mechanic. So for example, you lock VE FIRA, and then you can say improve like a weapon's power, or you can improve like summoning chances, for example.
Very cool. Very cool. I like that. So yeah, great to have those burning mechanisms in place. But yeah, I'm just like looking at the supply. Like there's 724,000 FIRA right now, so definitely like not in the need to burn any of this right now. But cool that those mechanisms are coming up soon. Well, it looks like our giveaway was just ended, and our 5 winners have been chosen. I'm gonna like talk about first letter, and then the last couple letters of this, and then where the email address is at to keep you guys safe and keep your information safe. But our winners, our first one starts with a P and ends with a 208 at gmail.com. Congratulations. Our next one starts with T and ends with NG at iCloud.com. Third one starts with M and ends with 208 at Gmail as well. And then we have the next one starts with an R and it's at a .ru email. And then last one starts with an E, ends with a D37 at Gmail for our winners. So congratulations. I will be emailing each of you, and then what will need to happen is that you guys will send me your MetaMask wallets back, and then I will send them over to the DeFira marketing team, who will send you your tokens. Expect a little bit of delay, but we'll try to get those out to you in the next 24 to 48 hours, and I'll be in contact very soon. So congratulations to all of our winners, and thank you so much for sponsoring this too, Krillin.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure talking to you. This is my first YouTube interview. I thought I was going to be nervous, but I think it turns out pretty well.
Dude, seriously,
think,
you killed
yeah,
it. That was awesome.
yeah. No, I think not seeing the actual like chat or actual viewers works very well. It's just a private talk between me and you.
Perfect. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all this was, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, do you have any final thoughts for our viewers?
Yeah, no, definitely. We're a very early project. We have huge plans. So please join our Discord and also Telegram. But we're less active on Telegram, but more. So join our Discord. You can find our Discord at defira.com.
Awesome. Yeah, the Discord there is lit. I can say for myself, and they have a rating feature there too, and what a channel they call Hype the Hype. Very similar to like the DFK one, where people are rating Trank and FIRA tokens or Jewel all day.
coming up called FIRA Friday. So if you
Ooh.
have nothing to do on Friday, just check out that channel.
FIRA Fridays. I like it. I'll have to check that for sure. All right. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for coming. Hope you guys learned a little bit about DeFira. And yeah, join us in the Discord and all the chats and stuff. And we'll have some more DeFira content here on the Crypto with Tosh channel soon too. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again, Krillin, for all your time. This was super fun. And take care, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.